About Textilers. Textilers was actually founded on May 30th, 2020. Textilers is a community focused on supporting women who desire growth in technology. We see ourselves as ladies with very important superpower, and this ability is used for skills to solve real life problems. We also have men in textilers. We are glad to have them here. And our vision is to bring more women into technology by empowering them with tech skills through training and mentorship. Our mission: we support girls to build a career in technology. We support women who desire to have a career in technology. And we also help women define a career path. We support women who have tech careers but are not confident enough to demonstrate their wealth of knowledge. We support women who have already defined their tech path and wish to deepen their skills. And also, we provide a platform for established women in technology to empower and mentor upcoming women in technology. Currently, we always have meetup on every last Saturday of the month. So every month we have meetups, and these are our social media handles that you can follow us, but we'll drop it on the chat too for everyone to follow. So for our icebreaker, I have this question for us, and we can type our answers in the chat box. If you time travel to 1970 with your phone, what's the first thing you show someone? We can type our answers in the chat box and I'll respond to them. Oh, someone says my selfie. Okay. More response, more response. Oh, someone says how in the world was without mobile phone and social media. That's true. No, it's a time travel. So you just go with your phone from here to 1970. Yeah. For me, I think I'll show them AI, what AI is doing. That's what I'll show. And then I'll also show Spotify because I love music so much. Is there anyone that still wants to share? Oh, MJ says there was night till then. Yeah, there should be internet then. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So while we wait for Isaac, I would like to ask, we can write in the chat box, has anyone used Lovable AI or Cloud Code before? Or is this your first time hearing it? Because I guess there are some newbies here and this might be their first time hearing about Lovable AI and Cloud Code. So we're going to meet our speaker. Our speaker is Isaac Omiote, and today he's going to collapse the gap between idea and products using Lovable AI and Cloud Code. For a while now, it takes about 3 to 10 months to build and launch an app the traditional way. You'll find out that, like in Nigeria, because of the Nigerian factors and all that, there's poor electricity, there's poor network connectivity, and sometimes developers will take jobs that they can't handle. Most times, the apps are usually delivered within 3 to 10 months, sometimes even a year. But today, ladies and gentlemen, you will learn the new way of building and launching an app in less than an hour. Isaac here is going to help us through that. Welcome everyone to this month's monthly inspirational session. Today we're going to learn about Lovable AI and Cloud Code with Mr. Isaac Omuyete. Isaac Omuyete is a full-stack engineer and tech founder based in Lagos, Nigeria, with over 6 years of experience building production-grade platforms across prop tech, HR tech, fintech, edtech, and e-commerce. He is the founder of Hotbridge Technologies, a Pan-African prop tech platform that uses AI-powered matching real-time inspection safety technology and multi-layer identity verification to tackle agent fraud and price manipulation in Nigeria real estate. Hotbridge reached 2,000 organizers with zero paid marketing. Isaac has integrated AI into real production systems long before it became fashionable, building CV scoring and psychometric assessment pipelines, NLP-based data intelligence systems for UK clients, AI product analyzers, and property matching engines that serve real users at scale. His background is unconventional. He began as a brand identity and graphic designer, moved through UI UX, and built his way into full stack engineering, giving him a rare ability to think across design, product, and infrastructure simultaneously. In his spare time, you can catch Isaac writing self-help and fictional stories. So today, Isaac is going to help us for all those developers to it will help their jobs when they know about AI, when they know about lovable AI and cloud code. And for the beginners, it's going to help them limit with their questions, and it will limit every boundary that they have. While for the founders, it's going to question why they haven't launched any app since when they started. Welcome, Mr. Isaac, on board. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and I really appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so I believe the introduction has already been done, and I'm just going to get right in because of time. Yeah, so this is basically me. Most of what I do and what I've built has already been said. But please go to the Meet Isaac section. Yes, please. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out there is the economics major, right? And the reason I put this there is so that you can understand that what I'm about to say does not apply only to people who have a tech background, right? I did my BSc in economics, and since then I started learning while yes, I have experience around UI UX and graphic design, right? I only began web development for like 2 years now, and I've been able to build products and that have gotten over 4,000 users organically, and for my own startup, and then for companies that I've worked with, I've been able to land them multi-million dollar deals, right? So what I'm saying now is going to be of value to you in whatever sphere that you're operating in, right? All right, please go to the next page, please. All right, so let's start here. Okay, so what is an agentic AI? All right, so in the past, like from 2020 to 2023, what most people do is that they build it from scratch. They use boilerplate templates. They go to Stack Overflow, So, but right now, 2023 to 2024, what you do now, in fact, it's not even right now, from 2023 to 2024, what happens is that you ask the AI to code. For instance, we will go to ChatGPT, we ask it, write the code for me to build a website, or to build a landing page, or to build something, and it writes the code, and then we have to go paste it in VS Code or somewhere. But right now, in the era of agentic AI, right, what happens is that you tell it what you want to build, you give it the information you need, it writes the code for you, it creates the files, it runs the command, it fixes whatever error is there, and it keeps on building it until it has been able to deliver on everything, basically. So it's like a cheat code for anybody who wants to build something valuable. And the amazing thing about this right now is that most big companies, from your Google to your Microsoft to your Apple, every company now are having to employ agentic AI in their web development process, right? And I've had the privilege of working with some of these companies, and many of them, in fact, I was in an interview on Thursday, and what they just wanted to see was, can you solve the problem? Because right now the playing field has been leveled. You don't need to know as much as was required in the past to actually come into the game, right? And what I'm going to do tonight is just introduce you to what these apps or these tools are really about, And then I expect that after this session, you would, go into YouTube or pay for a course, or get yourself much more familiar with these tools, right? The truth is, definitely 45 minutes won't be enough to explore these tools in depth, but at least I'm hoping that at the end of this session, everybody here would be comfortable going to Lovable or going to Claude. While Claude may be a bit more complicated than Lovable, but I'm hoping that at least everybody here would be able to build something that is very practical, that is very usable, after this session. So please, the next slide. All right. So first things first, is AI going to take my job? Right. So many people are asking this question: is AI going to take their job? Is AI going to, come and take over what it is that they're currently doing? So my answer to this question is, and first of all, AI will be able to write code faster than most people, and AI is already doing that. AI is writing code faster than most people. Imagine, in, I think it was September last year, there was a competition. It was Claude versus Anthropic organized an event, and they brought in a senior dev to build a particular product, and the instruction was clear for the both for Claude code and then the senior dev, and it was like a competition of who is going to write it faster. And we all know who won this thing. It was the AI. The AI wrote the code and published it faster. So yes, AI is going to write code faster than most of us, but then deciding what to build is still going to be left for humans, right? So I want to build a salon website. I want it to have this address. I want it to have this functionality. I want it to be able to pick a form, to have a form, and to collect this information. It's still going to be left for humans to handle those stuff, right? Yes, AI will be able to fix bugs automatically, but you still decide what bugs means to the user, right? So AI can generate the entire code component, but we still have to create the architecture. We're still going to decide how all of this is going to look and what each of these things would mean. Yes, AI makes junior codes 10 times faster, junior devs 10 times faster, but then it makes senior devs 100 times faster, right? So meaning the more you know about development, the more you decide to learn about these things, the more you become better, at producing valuable codes. All right. So yes, Anthropic now uses Claude to write 99%, 90% of their own code. Google, Shopify, GitHub, Strive all have AI writing code internally. The engineers didn't leave, they moved up the stack. So that's where you want to be. The person who knows how to direct the AI, review the inputs, catch what's missing. That skill is worth more, not less, as AI improves. All right, so please, the next slide. All right, so Lovable AI versus Claude Code. All right, so for many people who have not heard about these tools before, so let me introduce them for you. So first of all, Lovable AI. So Lovable AI is a tool that people use. So Lovable AI is basically it's very simple to use. It has a very good or simple UI, and all you have to do is basically, how do I explain this now? All you have to do is basically write a prompt. So after this, I'm going to do like a very short demo to show you how to use Lovable and how to use Claude, right? So it's not going to be so long. I'm just going to show you a run through. So, but I'll focus mostly on Lovable for this session because Claude has a much deeper learning curve. But then I'm going to introduce you to it so that in case you want to venture into Claude, you can actually use Claude. All right. So first off, Lovable AI. So best for complete beginners who has never coded, while Claude is for developers who already have a code base. Secondly, Lovable AI is used for building a full app UI from text description in minutes, while Claude is for complex multi-file edits and refactoring. Lovable AI is good for rapid prototyping and MVP with 3 designs. Claude Code is good for full terminal access, install, package, run, test. Lovable AI is good for people who want to ship fast, learn later. Claude is good for people who want to work inside existing project, e.g. VS Code or Cursor. Lovable AI does not have any need for terminals. It runs on your browser. Claude Code, full transparency on every file it touches. Lovable AI generates React/Next.js app automatically. Claude Code, professional production grade work. Okay, so why, for those who are not technical, basically what this means is that Lovable AI writes a simple website or build a simple website or web application just by you prompting it and telling it what to do. It has a preview page. You're going to see all of this very shortly. It has a preview page where you can simply just build everything, and it just shows. And Cloud Code is much more steeper, and it works in what we call an IDE. So an IDE is what, not in the past, what developers used to build websites. So it's a platform where they write codes normally, right? So but now you install it into your normal IDE for writing code. But this time now, in that your IDE, you don't have to code normally. You now have a prompt option where you can tell the Claude what to build and what to edit in your existing code. All right, so please, okay, before I move on, I don't know if there is any question or if you guys have been understanding what I've been saying so far, so that I can know if we would continue, if I would maybe answer some questions here before I move on to the next thing. So if you have questions, you could just raise up your hands.
Please, we'll take the questions later after your session. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, all right. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, so okay, so these are some of the things we need to know. So because of this meeting, I created a document that I've shared with Anu. So Anu can maybe share it to the team after the meeting. Speak. It breaks down some of these complex terminologies, so that I built it for Textiler. So it's most of these complex terminologies are going to be broken down there, and you can understand some of these terminologies that I'm saying that may be a bit confusing, right? But I'll try as much as possible to see how I can break down these things. But I'm putting out this information. I feel like these are the things that will be very important, at least for you to start. Okay, so what you need to know to start. So you need to install. So this is for Cursor, for Cloud Code. So you need Node.js, right, to start. So to download, and hopefully this slide will be available after this session for anybody who needs it. I don't know, or the recording will be out there, so I think we can always go over it again. Okay, so Node.js or Node.js version 18 and higher. Okay, so we would have to go to Node.js website to download it. Also, you need a terminal line. I'll try to show this after this. I'm just running through the slides before we go into the live session. Then Visual Studios, and then you need an Anthropic account. All right, please, the next slide. Okay. All right, so to install Cloud Code, you'd need to run these commands, right? So you'd run npm install. You have to copy all of this. You navigate to the folder. You start Cloud Code. You authenticate your Anthropic account. All right. Don't worry. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. You would really enjoy it when we begin to do the practical. All right. So localhost, you need Cloud .md. All right, first, what is localhost? So when you build, so this now is for Claude, right? Lovable is much easier to understand. Everything is on your browser. You don't need to stress yourself. But it's please don't feel bad or feel like, okay, what's this guy saying, if you're not really understanding what I'm saying now. As much as possible, this thing took us several weeks to really get the handle on it. But I'm trying to see how I can narrow it down a little bit so that we can understand. So please bear with yourself, give yourself grace if you're not really grasping some things. But I'm trying to make it as basic as I can, and please just try to stay with me. So when you have your when you want to use Cloud Code, right? So it's basically like you're trying to build a website normally, like the normal developers would, and normally they build on their laptop, and then they push it to the website, which is the www dot whichever website it is hosting your site. So what we build on is called a local host. So let me start. So when you build a website on your computer, it runs on your computer first, not on the internet. So you now go to your website. So you go to a platform like localhost.3000, and it's now going to run the site on your computer from your computer first. So you open your website running from your computer. So then what does init mean? So when you run Claude init, you are telling Claude Code, look at this project, understand what's already here, create a claude.md file that describe everything you found. So for instance, you are a dev, or you have a website already that was built, and now you're again trying to get Claude to understand what your project is already. So what you do is you run a command Claude called init, and then it's going to really study the already developed sites, and then it's going to understand what was built, so that when you now say, okay, make the sites act a certain way, when you prompt it, it will then know, because it had already gone through all the existing code in the code base, and will then know what changes to make and how to implement it. Then what is claude.md? Claude.md is a special file you create at the root of your project. So what is Claude.md? Claude.md is a special file you create at the root of your project. It is a Claude instruction manual for your specific project. You write things like what the project does, what tech stack it uses, the coding rules to follow, what not to touch. Alright, so basically Claude.md is where you put the instructions you want for your site. Right, so you can tell it to write the code. Maybe you're trying to build a mobile app, or you're trying to build a website. You can tell it not to use, or you can tell it the colors you want the site to have. You can tell it the tech stack you want it to use. You can tell it or basic information about the site. You can give it the whole information. You can even give it the information about your product, about who you are, about your teams. You can put all of those information. If you're a consulting company, you can tell it when the company was started, the founders of the team and all of that stuff, so that when you're prompting and it comes to the teams page, it knows to collect information from your claude.md. So your claude.md is like a folder of different information that it can know to search when it's building your website. So it goes there and it goes through those folders and it gets any relevant information, so that when you're building it, it can make all of those changes and apply those information where relevant. All right, so please, the next slide. Okay, so accept, reject, accept for now. The most important decision you make while using Cloud Code. So many times people make this change or this error. They accept what they are not supposed to accept. They reject what they are not supposed to reject, right? So okay, let me describe this now. Or just pause a minute. I think this would be a good time to share my screen. Okay, or maybe when I'm done, I would share my screen so that we can go through this slide faster. Okay. The most important decision you make while using Cloud Code: accept. So you're happy with the change. When you choose this, the code does exactly what you asked. You've read it and it makes sense. The test will pass. No files you didn't expect expect will change. All right. So when you accept, it basically accepts all the changes. So when you write an instruction basically and you give to Claude, Claude is going to bring back a suggestion of, like, it's going to interpret what you gave to it. So it doesn't just make the changes automatically. It asks you that, for instance, you say change the color of this button to red. It will then go through the instruction, read the code and everything, then come back with an instruction and say, oh, you've requested that I change the button in this section to red. It can give you the color code. Then you can now click on accept or reject, right? So it then accepts, right? So that's basically what this is trying to talk to you about. So when we begin our demo, I believe we're going to have a better understanding about what this is about. So this is also Claude and this is also unlovable. All right. So yeah, how to talk to Claude so it listens. So instead of saying fix the button, you have to be very specific, right? Many of us use ChatGPT and we already know a bit about prompt engineering. So it's similar to using Claude or using Lovable. So when you say, you don't just say build me a website for a fashion house or build me a website for a real estate. You try to gather as much information as possible about what you're trying to build. So if, for instance, you're trying to build a real estate platform, you collect the information of the people who are going to be owning, who are in charge of the real estate. You collect the copy, that's the type, what will be written in the hero section, what will be written in the about section. You're going to collect. So this is what now being a developer entails. So you would ask questions from the founder, or if you're the founder, so you want to know the kind of animations you want to be on the site. If you want the website, the hero section, to have like a carousel, like it's changing, have slides, you can collect those information. If you want to have like the logos of the companies that have worked or that the company has worked with before for like a testimonial, you ask that, you collect those pictures, you add it. You have the information of all the team members, right? And you want it to be there, you add all of those things, right? So you have to be very detailed about what you're trying to build. You have to be very concise. You have to give it context, right? And then if you're okay, so yeah, this is one of the hacks that we try to do to make Claude much more balanced, so that it doesn't go on doing its own thing, really. So what we do is we ask Claude to document first, then build second, right? So this single technique separates beginners from those who ship product ready professional products. All right. So let's say you say, so before any code is written, paste this into Claude, right? I want to build, then you describe your app naturally as if texting to a friend. Before writing any code, create a detailed create a detailed document that covers what the app does, every feature, every screen, every user action, the recommended tech stack and why, how authentication is implemented, login sign-up sessions, all the security vulnerabilities I should protect against, and how, recommend the UI UX approach, layout, color schemes, and component structures, right? So you can take this and either put it in Claude, like normal Claude or ChatGPT, right? And then it's going to create a very detailed document. So this is basically what I was talking about before. I always do this, and in all the courses and videos I've watched, even before I began taking some of these courses, I saw that most of the engineers, when I started watching and taking courses, I saw that this is what they also do. So they create a very detailed document that shows what is to be built, right? So they then carry that document after they've reviewed it. So if the code is not correct, if the prompt is not correct, so for instance you're asking for it's to use a particular color, but your brand already has a color, right? You then put your actual brand color in that particular space, and if there are other details you want to be added, you can then add all of those things there. All right, so please, the next slide. All right, so what is token, context windows, compact? Okay, so first of, what is token? So so this is very important for Claude users, and it's also very relevant for Lovable as well. So a token is a small chunk of text, roughly one token is equal to 4 characters. So one token is approximately 0.75 words. So hello world is equal to 3 tokens, right? Why does it matter? An AI model have a limit on how many tokens they can process at once, right? So this is called the context window. So so what is a context window? Think of Claude's context window as the working memory, all right? Because it can only hold a limited amount of conversation at a time. So Claude Sonnet 4.6 can hold 200,000 tokens, which is approximately 150,000 words. So that's like a full novel. So yeah, I was explaining that what a context window is and why it is important and why tokens and all of these are important. So yeah, I was saying that a context window is basically the memory of your chat history. So you're building a particular app. The in Claude, the information is only stored for a particular amount of time. It's not just permanently stored, right? So you can exhaust the memory. You can say, okay, this information is really, this information stays with you or stays in the app for only a certain amount of usage. So if you exhaust the usage, it then gets full. You understand? So, but what Compact does is that it is a way of summarizing your token, so or the information that is already on that chart. So after a while, you can create or you can run forward slash compact, and then it brings down or it summarizes all of those information so that the total number of words being used is actually reduced. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right. Please to the next slide, please. Um Yeah, so basically what this slide is saying, or what I'm trying to say here, is that I'm still saying that irrespective of anything, um, it is extremely important, right? That if you really want to build something that is going to be used by thousands of users and potentially millions of users, you really need to still try to understand, like at least take a course on how to build or how to code, right? Like I said, or like was it was said in the introduction session, I'm able to do this confidently and use AI confidently because I already learned how to code. You understand? So it's very important that you learn how to code. All right. So next slide, please. Okay, yeah, so this is where the demo actually starts. So the idea here is to build somebody's website, like somebody who is on the call, right? So that we are doing it practically. So we'll start from a blank folder. So we'll do the documentation together. I will show you all of the things I talked about the last time, from accepting all of those stuff. I will show you how Claude works, the mistake, and all of that. I'll review the plan and all of that stuff. So are we good to go? Do you understand? So somebody will need
Yes,
to
please. Let me know
yeah,
where you want me to
somebody.
stop sharing.
Okay, so yeah, you can go to the next slide. So, but I will need someone to volunteer to. You can just work on a um, on a project together. So we just work either on a fictional um, project or a real project. So we don't want someone to volunteer so that we can work on it together. Okay, so but before we go to that, let me quickly run through this, right? Um, right now, ChatGPT also builds and writes code and all of that stuff. But the real difference between ChatGPT and Claude is what I'm going to, is what I, outlined here. So majorly for Claude goes into your files. So for instance, you have your code base and everything. Claude goes into that and reads through all the code base, all your different files, read everything, and then makes changes by itself. It's an agent, right? But ChatGPT only is limited to the codes that you paste within your chat or the code that you generated using it. It cannot it cannot write multi pages or multi documents um, codes, right? So code is good for refactoring. So refactoring is when you write a very long code and you need to shorten it. So Claude is really good for that, right? ChatGPT has a very limited capacity when it comes to very large context. For debugging, Claude can debug, it can go through the whole code, it can track where the error is from, it can fix the errors autonomously. But for ChatGPT, you need to actually look for the folder where the error is coming from, right? And sometimes it may be from different folders, right? And you may have to copy the code from that, from maybe VS Code or Lovable, whatever platform you're using, paste it to ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT to debug it, and then it goes through the code, finds the issue, and then you now have to copy it and take it back to whatever platform you're using. So, I mean, the difference is quite clear. Then building from scratch is Lovable. Lovable uses Claude under the hood, so, but we are using Claude anyway. So, ChatGPT does not power Lovable, it does not use Claude, it uses its own OpenAI API. Quick one of question. Okay. So this is very important. So please go to the next slide. Okay. All right. So okay, 8 things from today. Okay, so this will be after we have done the demo. Okay, so yeah, we'll need to now go back to. I think at this point I can begin to share my screen. That's fine.
All
I'll
right,
need a
please.
yeah. I'll need someone to come up with something. I don't know, maybe let's even say we are trying to do someone's project, like a pet project or a consulting website or something basic, something simple that has like a dashboard that has security. Let's do something quite interesting and has a little bit of AI. So maybe I know you would help me.
Okay. So what do you want me to do now?
So yeah, this part now we try to make it a bit practical. So it's not me just doing it alone, right? So I want us to actually come up with something together. So in fact, everybody can, butt in and, come up with different things. So we are building it together basically. So we want to come up with a website, right? And I want us to do it live, do it together, right? So I'm going to show you some. I'm going to begin sharing my screen now, and I have permission from the owner. So one of the websites I'm going to be sharing. Please let me know if you can see my screen. I think they can share me. So I have permission from the owner to actually do this.
All right.
So yeah, so this you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so this is a lovely, but this is a project I work on for a client. Right? So you can see this is lovable. So okay, but first of let me so if you go to www.lovable.dev, let's start from the scratch. So let's even start. So let's go to lovable.dev. Let me open a different tab. Lovable.dev. Right. So this if you've never had an account before, I mean it's the usual process. They will tell you to log in either using your Google or you could put in an email, right? Or if you have a referral link, if someone referred you, you can always use that referral link. And if you use that, they're going to give you 10 extra credits, right? And that's really good because every day the limit is 5 credits per day. So if you're referred by somebody who already has an account, you get 10 extra credits. The person gets 10 extra credits. So maybe I would even drop my link if I need to share with your team in case your team wants to.
Okay.
So yeah, so because each of you would get like 10 extra credits, so meaning you have like 15 credits. Um, so yeah, loading. Mhm. So yeah, this is the screen. This is what is going to greet you. You'll see ask Lovable to build a landing page for mine. Basically you're going to prompt it, right? So you can attach. It's still loading, but from this with this plus icon, you should be able to attach the images. You can go to a website, right? Let's say you want to you want it to mirror a particular website. Now let's say I want it to mirror um, let's say I wanted to mirror, let's say I wanted to mirror Udemy, right? So this is one thing that you could do. You can go to, let's say, udemy.com. After Udemy page loads, there is this tool you can come here to download. This Chrome extension is called Go Full Page, right? So you can use it to take a screenshot of your full page. Um, so this is my personal process. If I'm going to be doing something around this, like depending on what I'm trying to achieve. So you would come to this Go full page. You can then take a full screenshot of the page, right? You can take multiple pages like that, and then you will take it to either ChatGPT, Gemini. You take those screenshots to either ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, and then you can tell them to describe what is written, what is in those pictures that you're trying to rebuild that design using Lovable, and it should be as detailed as possible. They should work on they should give the detail for the UI, UX, the pixel, all of those stuff, right? And then it's going to come up with something really, really beautiful. Why? Let me show you. So I'm saying this and I'm saying this very practically, and I want to show you. There's also another website I built, and I use this similar approach. So it's for a client in the UK, and he is a data analyst, and he trains people on data analyst. And I use the similar approach to build his website. So he wanted something that looks like Udemy, had very similar features, right? So you take it to ChatGPT, tell it to outline all of the features, talk about the dashboard, all of those stuff. You can take as many screenshots as possible and tell it to write out all of those features so that you have like a documentation, right? So when it does all of those things, I save them in my notepad, right? So this is Techari. So this is the techari.co.uk. This is the website I built. I use Lovable and I use Copilot, right? So then when I built this, there was not Cloud was not existing then. Cloud code had not started. I hadn't gone mainstream. So I used Lovable and Copilot to build this. So you can see this. You can see that it's very similar to um, Udemy, right? And everything works. You can log in, you do all of those stuff on the site, right? So, but these pictures, all of those stuff, you know, you can create a version of your own. So you can take a screenshot or you download the picture you want from. So let's go to their login page. You can see that there are some similarities. So you can take a screenshot of or you download the image you like from their own website. Then you can take it to Gemini and tell it to re-edit this particular picture or this illustration using. So this is theirs, right? You can tell it to create a version of um, that particular design using. Now you can know this is like male stuff like that and piano and all of that, but this one has you can see it has like this logo, this all of this stuff because ours is more of a data analysis website, right? So you can it's hard to tilt it and make change the color to suit the brand and all of that stuff. So I use Gemini to achieve that, right? So you can use Gemini as well to build some of the images and illustrations that you'll be using on your own site. So you can have a reference. And mind you, this is not uniquely peculiar. I used to be a UI designer for 2 years. This is what UI designers do. They go to different sites. They have like um, a mood board. So they collect different illustrations they like. They tweak it. They collect different pictures. They make a version of it. So design it for this particular brand and make it uniquely, you know, suiting for that particular brand. And many times, even I used to do illustrations before on Illustrator, and it will literally take us like days to achieve this level of design. But now we can do it in less than 30 minutes with Gemini, depending on how creative you are, what you know is possible, basically. All right, so yeah, so I want to take a screenshot. So let's go back here. Okay, let me even start it. So this is the authentication page. You can come here, go to Go Full page. and you see it goes and it takes a screenshot, right? Takes a screenshot. You can see it. You can either save it as a PDF or save it as an image, right? You can come back here. You can go to the home page. Mind you, I have not yet saved it. Oh, this thing will take a while. So please, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how we want to do it. If you want to have the questions all towards the end of the session, or if you want to force in between to excuse me, to have our questions answered. So stuff like this, you can achieve them using Canva, right?
All right.
So yeah, so I'll be okay to pause to answer questions, right? And I'll also like to pause to know if we are understanding. So far so good. I don't know. Are we on the same page? Are we getting any value so far?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So I'm not going to give tips here. I'm just going to share everything as much as I'm able to remember, so that everybody who watches this video will be able to go out of this session and is able to do, because these platforms have done a lot of work, right? The people who built Lovable, I think they've raised over, I'm not sure of the exact figure, but I know that they're a unicorn right now. I think they've raised over $1 billion. Let me check it. Lovable. So I think they've raised a lot of money because, and they've invested it. They've worked on the security, authentication, back end, and all of that. So okay, so an estimated 400 million in annual recurring revenue, right? And I think they've raised over $1 billion, dollars rather. So you can see that they've a lot has gone into the, yes. So they are valued at 6.6 billion, right? And this company is not up to, I don't think it's up to 2 years. I don't think it's a really new, recent company, right? So there's this can do a lot. So as much as I'm a developer and I want people to come to me for this project and all of that stuff, I believe very strongly in giving back and sharing, right? So yeah. Um, all right. So this is, so I'm going to take a screenshot now. So mind you, many of these pictures like that, Lovable is not really good at generating graphic design and stuff like this. They would have to either work with a graphic designer, illustrator, to come up with this kind of pictures. If not, your website will look generic, right? So those are some of the areas you might still need to, if you have a skilled designer in your team, yeah, that would be really good. All right, so now I'm downloading the PNG files, like the screenshots, right? So I'm going to go here and download, right? So ideally, I would want to download multiple pages, as many pages, so that I'm able to give Lovable as a very detailed um, idea of what we are doing. Okay, so maybe for this, since we've already started in this trajectory, and do you mind, maybe we should just do like a simple LLM, like LMS, like a learning platform, since we've already started on this trajectory. What do you think?
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Okay, so yeah, I already have downloaded this. So we are going to need an LLM. You could either use Claude, you could use Gemini, you could use ChatGPT, you could use any of these platforms, right? So for this purpose, I'm going to be using. But the issue with Claude is that Claude, its context window is very small. So after a little bit of prompting, not even context window rather, the the free usage, the free usage limit is really small. Yeah, I think that's more correct, because the context window is actually much. Just that the limited window. So I'm going to just use ChatGPT. The reason why I'm using ChatGPT or what I want to use ChatGPT for is to create a documentation. Like I want to think about what it is I'm trying to build. Like I want to bring out everything in my head. Like usually, um, like I think the madam who asked me that question before, I think she was talking about the role of a project manager or product manager. I'm not sure which of them now because sometimes they tend to do this right or a product owner. So they document everything in their mind, in their head into a document so that the developers, the UI UX designers can have a clear understanding of what the product is or what it is they are trying to build. So for that purpose, I'm going to use ChatGPT because the more detailed your prompt is, when you give it lovable, the more the quality of the result. Because if I just come here and tell it, oh, build me an LLM, an LMS, I mean, the results might not really be impressive. So if you want to build something like this, for this now, it's a real estate platform. There was a lot of um, original, original thinking, and but we had references to what he wanted. So you can still see ideas from because we had the mood board we had was we had GG, right? You can see elements of GG. We had platforms like Nigerian Property Pro. We had platforms like Nigerian Property Center. If you had seen my laptop thing, you see screenshots from all of these different platforms, right? And even those screenshots, I uploaded them to November, uploaded them to ChatGPT for references, right? So you can see all of those stuff. So this I'm giving you now gives you a context into how behind the scene of how to come up with something that's quite interesting. And yeah, so for this, I'm just going to put this out there. You may want to write it down. So what this I learned this as a UI designer. If you notice this Nava kind of glassy feel, it's called glasshomorism, right? I'm going to type it here. So in case of for the spelling, GLSSSMORPHISM. So glasshomorism. So it really makes website look modern and cool. So many times when I'm talking to ChatGPT or I'm writing my prompt, I tell it, oh, put a transformerism effect for the nav bar. Another thing I wanted to do, or I want to just do a little bit, is identify the different parts of the website so that by the time you are prompting, you know what to tell ChatGPT. Some of you may already know this, but some people, for the context of the future, for the purpose of the future, I'm just going to say a little bit of um, naming, website body naming. So this whole thing here, where all of this stuff are written, they are called it's called the NAFA, right? So where the home property, all of these things are called the NAFA. So in mobile view, I'm going to change it to mobile view. So yeah, to click on mobile view, just come here. So now it's in mobile view. You notice this thing, these three dots. This three dots is called a hamburger menu, right? So many times so this website will not have a hamburger menu. You can just tell it, oh, put a hamburger menu and make everything to be within. For the mobile view, you can just make a clear distinction that on mobile view, create a hamburger menu and put those information that are showing in the website, in the web view, more distinct or to be written out clearly. But then, on mobile view, have a hamburger menu, right? So this view is called the web view. I'm changing the view now. So this is called the web. This view is called the web view. This view is called the tablet view. It's loading. This view is called the tablet view. And this is how it shows on iPads and some all these other platforms. So then this new view is loading as well. Sorry, it's taking a while to respond. All right, this view is called the mobile view, right? So you have to build for all you use. So many times when I'm working, I build something and it looks very nice in web. I'll then switch it to mobile view and then I'll begin to make changes if it doesn't align well. Right? I have to make sure that it looks well across all the tiles of the screen. So from the web view to the tablet view to the mobile view, right? So all right. So then this is another. Let me switch to this other. So this one screen is still loading. So I'm still talking about that. So this view now, just I'm talking about. I'm still naming the types of websites. Sorry, I'll still go back to what I was trying to do with ChatGPT, but this is also very important, especially if you're just coming in. So this part, the first screen that every user sees is called the hero section, right? So this is the hero section. For Lovable, this is the hero section of Lovable. This first part is called the hero section. This is the hero section. For love sites, this is the hero section. There's a video, but I think the network, let me refresh. There's supposed to be a video here playing. So that's the hero section, right? Um, for ChatGPT, the whole screen, unless you've already logged in. So I think the network is not like. Anyways, I'll come back to that. So this whole place is the hero section, right? The main text is called the biggest text, the most important text is called the H1, right? And all of these texts, right, I believe they are called the hero text. This is H1, the biggest one. Then this is H2, like the second biggest text, the website. So then these are other, then all of these are called section. This is section one. This is the featured property section. Think he didn't take the name. So most of this is supposed to be, not all of this should be listed. In the admin section, you can select which properties should be listed in the feature section, but I think he was posting everything, tagging feature section. So there are other sections so there's investment properties, there's sorted apartment section, there's property for rent section, there's property for sale section, right? There's latest property section, right? Then this is all of these are on this page. So there are different pages. So let's click on another page, properties page, right? Click on properties page. So now this is a different page, right? It's not on the same section. Now this is a different page, right? So I'm going to click on another page. This is a different this is a different page, right? Okay, let me even go back to this. So all of these things now that you can fill, they are called fields. These are called fields. This option that you can drop down is called a drop down menu, right? So if you want to take note, maybe you want to use this in the near future, you can actually leverage this. Please a minute, please. Let me someone just so
Welcome.
but so far have you been understanding what I've been saying?
Yes.
All right. So these are called fields, right? All of these sections where you can write stuff. They are called fields because it's important to know the names of what you're trying to do or build or have lovable do. Because most of what you'll be saying is through text. You are telling it, oh, do this, do this, do this. And if you don't have the right words to use, maybe it's really difficult for you to understand what you're trying to say. Like that's why it's also important that I tell you name this stuff. So this thing now that is written here, your at email.com, this plus 224, all these texts that are written here now, um, all of these, your full name, all these EG are there, but they are not actual text. They are just there to fill up the field so that the user has an idea of what is expected to be there, right? Name just skipped my mind now. I'm trying to remember. But, um, trying to remember. Mm, okay, but you can just like describe basically what it is. You can just tell it, okay. So that filler text, there's actually a word. It's something I'm very familiar with, but I don't know, it just keep my mind. So you can just tell it that filler text that was written in the field. Um, you can tell it to change it or something, or to put a kind of filler text. If I remember later on, I'll say it so that they can maybe asterisk it in the video. So yeah, these are pages. So So this is also a graphics design. A lot of people didn't come up with this, how to design it different for different screens. So it works on different screens. So you need a graphic designer. This also is a graphic. This also is a graphic design. A lot of people won't do this for you, right? But most of the other stuff you see, a lot of people can handle most things. Okay, so that said, let's go to Lovable. Let's go to ChatGPT. So let me check this. Okay, so this is okay, so this is another type of website. I don't know why this. I haven't opened it. I just built it. I didn't eventually use it. I was just testing it. I wanted to put it. I pitched it to a client, right? But we didn't move forward with the contract. So I built this. I don't know. This is not. But yeah. So this is a simple site. So all of these, click on it. A very simple one. Just to show you video. And it's important. I'm showing you this because this thing really makes a website. In case you are building a website and you want to have this kind of effect, right? So I'm going to show you how I did this as well. It depends on how much time we have to go. Video is okay. I don't know why it's saying this, but yeah, let's move on. Okay, let's say we want to build a learning platform where textile ladies can go to maybe download the previous YouTube session, right? Let's say we want to do that, right? And let's say we want to use um, um, Udemy as our reference in this case. Let's say we want to do something a bit unique, right? Uh, so okay, this. So let me show you how I would approach it. Usually, what I'll do is I'm going to take a screenshot of different things that Textiler has, all the information I can get from Textiler, from their phone number to their address to their website currently, everything I can get about Textiler, the profile of the CEO, the founders, and all of that. And I'll bring all of those information into a raw text file, and I'm going to paste that. So I think Textiler has a website currently. It was the site, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Isaac.
So what I'll do is I'll like to take all of the information already on the page. Um, I can take a screenshot or I could just like do Control A, copy all of the text, right, and take it to ChatGPT, right. Going to understand from now, tell you that that's a website. Um, but let's just so I'll probably want this counting stuff to have like an animation where it kind of counts in or something. So another thing I would usually do here is I would paste. So if the client already has a website, another thing I would do is I will tell ChatGPT or Claude to criticize the website. I will take a screenshot of the website and I'll give it to it. I'll tell it to criticize the UI UX of the site and what is working, what isn't working. And then I'll take that screenshot and also take those feedback, take it to Lovable and tell it, okay, do this, fix these errors, try to review this. I'll give it the original image for the logo, like this. I'm going to like download this logo. So mind you, how I'm going to download this logo, I'm just going to come here, the logo. I'm going to right click, then see all of these options. I'm going to click save image as. Then I'm going to just call it tech file. So normally I'll probably download all of these images, take pictures of all of these people, right? And I'll download the pictures of all of these individuals. So now let me download. Let me just wait for everything to load properly. So that's zero. So if I'm going to be downloading it, sometimes I would want to put the actual name of the individual. So for instance, I don't know if it was hard coded into it. So for instance, I'm downloading from Madam Adeyemi. So I'm going to click on it, click on save image as. It already shows her name, but I would want to have full name. Oh, okay. So this already has this here. So when I'm telling Lovable, I'm going to give the full name. So since the surname is already his name, because when I'm uploading the images, Lovable can read the names of the images. So from the reference, I'm going to tell it, I'm going to say, okay, this picture I uploaded is going to be for this person. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, okay, so I'll just download for people. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this page now. Go to the page, click on it, and to begin to capture all of it. And so I also use this method to collect the text sometimes, right? And also I can take it to Gemini, whichever platform, and make it to give me an idea of what the copy for each section is. So I have this already. Have I saved it? I think I have. Okay, I already did. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to ChatGPT. Okay, so the video for this platform is loading now. Wait for the next focusing. Loading. Anyways, uh, sorry about that. I think the network is a bit. So this, like I said, this is the hero section. I don't know if you would call it that because it's pretty much the only section, right? So this is how it usually prompts it. I'll give it a lot of context. I'll make it take the position of someone, right? So I'll say, this is how it usually begins something. I would say you are a start developer with experience working as a UI UX Apple use some images to you to analyze them, give me feedback on how to make them look better. I will build an LM for the company. It is going to be the new copy, page copy, UI design, not maybe notes. You can say something like, I need the exact animation type, the kind of fonts for each section, features, pretty integrations, see, don't say integration, other systems of um, and the content. It will have a dashboard, it will have a hot page, user dashboard. Okay, so an auth page is basically the login or the sign up page. So it's like the authentication page. So it has an auth page and user dashboard. Also give us all the UI that the people we want users to be able to come to our site, previous, previous, um, previous trainings organized by the tech island. And so for this scenario, we say we want to do it for free because of I believe I don't know if tech island is enough for us because it's very important to also like learn how to make payments and integrate payments to your site. So I would say um, so that's a bit more integral, but I would say they will accept payment just so that because that one is a bit more complex and I want you to see just a little bit of logic about how to do it. Though we may not be able to do that obviously. Um, but I would say it should be able to accept payments and we will be charging uh, 1,000 per um, per user price to download all courses. So I don't know, I think this is pretty much it. So usually what I would do is I'll come here and I'll turn on deep research. Right? So this would take longer, but usually that's what I do. So it scans the internet for the best UI, looks at different elements, does all of those stuff. But because of time, I'm going to turn this off. This also without the deep research, it also brings out a very good result. Let's just work with. No, I haven't uploaded the image. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to upload the image now. Already saying sorry to upload. So I'm going to upload the screenshot. After I upload it now, I'm going to send it again now. Alright. This is good foundation, but I'm going to very direct. Right now, this looks like an NGO, not a premium tech training. You know, that people pay 1,000 naira for nothing in space. So it begins to audit it, right? Big visual hierarchy, everything does all of this stuff, everything the same way. I'm going to get into all of that now, but I'm going to leverage all of those. So headline, learn 10 skills that get you hired, subtext, accessory training, and all of that. So replace the service is what you get for 1,000 naira. Testimonial, but solid, total click, play. So this is very basic. The results here are very basic. If I had used the research mode, this would have been much more detailed. Um, you know what? Still use Claude. Sorry about that. I'm going to even, I'm going to build the first HTML. So this is something I recently started doing. I would build it, the first HTML in Claude. I'll download it, then take it to Lovable and build the site. When I'm done, I will then take it to Copilot to make other changes because Lovable has just a maximum of five credits a day, and Copilot is free, right? So I can make as many changes. But Copilot does not build as beautifully designed as Lovable does. And Copilot has an issue. Copilot majorly helps you to code, right? It makes changes to your existing code already. So it has to have something to work with. Starting from scratch is not really Copilot's thing. So I'm going to paste this and then I'm going to come and upload this. So basically what I just did now is I moved I was not too impressed with there's an issue. Let me look at this picture from the original. I want to be sure that okay, that's the home page. Because see, I'm not seeing the home page. I just wanted to be sure that that's the home page in the actual picture. Okay, so So yeah, I'm going to tell you to design or build the enhanced HTML. So and JavaScript. Let me just add that. So it's going to build that for free at least. I think you should be able to do that in one. mm, Okay, so what I'm saying basically here is I need one code base and I want you to build all of that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to click and send it. So I believe it will make sense when you see it, the result. From the result, I can probably explain it and make it a bit more easier. So now, Claude already is analyzing the screenshots and it has the ability to build. So the only issue I may have now is the constraint of the limit, right? So text file and complete single file. So this is what I was talking about. So I need a single file that contains HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So in coding, there is something called inline code, right? So inline code, you can put different codes, different in the same. You just try them together in the same line, like in the same, but you reference it differently, and you make some changes. But then the best way of coding is to write different, so HTML in different documents and CSS in different documents, JavaScript in different documents. Then when you are writing and you want to reference it, you now point it to the actual code where HTML is. I don't know if I'm confusing you, but what I want now is I want everything to be in the same line so that it will be easy for me to download the document and take it to Lovable so that Lovable can then extract all of that. So I don't know if what I just said made sense. I need to explain to do mind doing that.
Yes, I understood what you said.
If anybody has any questions, so this may take a little while. Um, so, but so far this is where we are. So I'm going to just open Visual Studio to show us a thing or so about how Visual Studio is. So basically, to use Claude, to use Copilot is still very similar. So now we are already using Claude to build at least the HTML. So this is not exactly how Claude Code works. Claude Code is much more advanced than this, but it is a paid tool. So if you want to come to Code and my subscription has ended, but this is still the free version of Claude Code. It's still the same Claude that is being run here. So, but there's a free version, an alternative to Claude Code that is free, which is GitHub Copilot, and I'm going to show you how to use it. It's not as strong as Claude Code, but it does a very similar good work. So, but for the beginning, that's the foundation of the work, the UI, UX, and all of that stuff. Cloud Code is even some argue that it's better than Lovable as coming up with really clean UI UX. So that's really why I'm using it for this. And actually, I prefer using it for the UI. So that's how I'm coming up with this first in Cloud Code. So now this is Visual Studio. To download Visual Studios, Google whatever device you're using, Google Visual Studios code download, and then the first page that comes up, click on it, download it. Is very simple, right? I don't think there's a point of going through that. So this is what you would be created with. This is like the hero section, right? So you'd see new file, open folder, clone Git repository, connect to create new workspace. So these are the previous projects I've been working on recent. So this is what we're going to be doing or using. We're going to be using clone Git repository. So let me check if there's any progress so far. It's still working. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, so what does clone Git repository mean? So basically, let me explain what GitHub or Git really means now. So I hope I'm able to really break this down and help you understand. Because for me to understand some of these things, what long hours of code or videos to understand it. But so basically, GitHub is like LinkedIn or Facebook, the social media platform for developers. So it's a place where they can store their code on the internet. So normally in the past before GitHub, everybody was writing their code in their own computer and then they'll have their domain name and push it to their domain name. Nobody had access to the code, right? But a guy, I think his name is Linus, was the one that I think, I hope I'm not mixing up this information now, came up with the idea of GitHub and stuff like that. No, I'm not sure. Just scrap that. Scrap that. I don't want to give wrong information. But someone came up with the idea of GitHub and then said, why can't developers have a platform where everybody can go and find different codes and maybe make changes to the code, or developers from different countries can collaborate, right? So that was the major idea for GitHub. So when I make a code in my country here in Nigeria, I can now push the GitHub to my own account. So I'll go to GitHub, I'll create an account, I take the developer 123, right? I have my account, I can go there, upload my profile picture, everything, you know. In fact, let me go to GitHub, let me show you guys my GitHub account. Almost done. So that you can see what I'm talking about. You can see that GitHub is actually a social media platform, but it's very, very important. So because you can collaborate and do a lot of stuff with it. So this is my account. So this is GitHub hero section. So I'm going to sign in. So basically what you do, you make your changes to your code. You may want to blur this part out. I think it may not allow you upload with an email. So like I said, you log into my account. So this is my account now. You can see it's very, very much like a game. You can see the number of the amount of times I've coded, this year. Because it's going to show. So this now is like your feed. Just the same way you see feeds on Twitter and X. You see, okay, this person, this trading agent, I done this and this and that. You can come here and search and type. So this is basically it. You can see all the projects I've worked on. Right. So let's say I can click on this. I can see all issues, all pull requests, all repository, all projects, discussions, marketplace, explore. So this is a social media platform basically. So if I click on discussion, so I just want to give you an idea. So no discussion. I've not commented on anybody's. So you can see I can comment and all of that stuff. So before ChatGPT and Copilot and Claude and all this, GitHub, even till now, GitHub is still very, very important. So the reason why I'm saying this is because it's GitHub I'm going to be using to make a lot of changes. And mind you, you get it's not super complex. It's not complex. I think this is good. Okay, it's not done yet. So let's do this. So now let's go back. So this is GitHub Visual. This is Visual Studios. So when I click on clone Git repository, so I click on this clone Git repository. Please, if I'm too fast, call me back. If maybe I'm going a bit too fast, please call me back and tell me if you don't understand. Because the goal is to have us understand. So this
Okay.
the reason I'm here. That go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So when I click on clone Git repository, watch this search bar. Something is loading, I believe. Still loading. There's the drop down will show here. I click on it. This is not what's supposed to show. Come now. Into my session. Probably the next one. Mm, so just a minute. I'll come back to this. Okay, and even before that, yeah, you need to connect your account to Visual Studio. You need to sign in. Oh, am I signed out? Oh, okay, I think I'm signed out. That's why it doesn't work. Okay, yeah, I was signed out. So that's why I couldn't access any repository. So it's very important. You need to create a GitHub account, then sign in with your GitHub account. So now I'm signing in with my GitHub account. I think they'll require that I got verified form. So yeah, I think this is done. So this is what Copilot came up with loaded. So here's the full textile element. So I think it's done. So, then 2,279 lines of code, only HTML files. So authentication speech, this screen, all of that. So I can download the HTML here. Downloading the HTML, where it has been downloaded. So now this is the code, right? This is what it came up with. Right. So ideally all of this should be changed proper pictures and this is what it came up with. You can change the responsiveness to web version. This is the web version. You can click on this is the authentication page and so, so we'll make a lot of changes to this using Lovable. Okay, so now that I've downloaded it, right, I'm going to come to Lovable. Sorry, I'm still going to go back. Okay, let me finish. Don't mind me, I'm all over the place. Okay, so let's go back to fail to sign in. Could you like to try again? Yeah, let's just try. Fail to say. Is that? Okay, let me try signing in with my Google account. If that would work, because they are all still connected. Oh, okay. Let's hold on. Let's let's focus on this. So now I'm back to Lovable. Are you with me before I continue? Yes. No.
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to spend a lot of time. So I'm going to click on this plus and I'm going to click on attach. So I can attach a file. Then click on attach a file. So this is where I'm going to attach the, the pictures, the HTML file, all of those stuff and the clicking. So now I'm going to attach everything. That's combined image for body limit system size. That's another issue. Let me see. What I'll do is let me upload this first. This text this HTML. Just going to upload this. Oh, this image alone is 14 megabytes. Okay, okay, I can quickly reduce the size of the image using this. Is there any need for that? Too? You know what? I would not say this. So, so one thing I noticed with Paint is that if you save a file in PNG, it tends to drop the size file like significantly. I think it's still saving. Looking at this, if
Okay,
that's
Isaac, can
yes,
we exclude that particular image
okay,
and
okay.
just pick
All
the
right,
remaining?
no problem, no problem. It's even increased it. No problem. Uh, I think this will work. Yes, okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll most likely take this, this initial response of, from ChatGPT. So I'm going to take all of this and coupled with the HTML file that was developed from so I'm going to take all of that and put it to the login book. So I'm just going to take all of this and it's loading. I'm going to paste it here. It should have all loaded. So I'll come to the top. Not super important. You can do at the bottom and everywhere. But I'm going to start. So one thing I noticed works is that lovable counts it. So if you want to reference a particular image, you can reference it either by the name or the position. So I can say the first HTML file or the first upload is an HTML file, the second upload. So numerically, chronologically, I think you can reference it. So I can say I came up with this HTML, but I want you to build a more sophisticated, like generate AI images, NSLP. The actual logo of this company is image number. So I'll count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the sixth image. Sorry, just a minute. Alright, so sorry about that. Anyway,
Yes, I can.
alright. So sorry for the commotion in the background. The actual logo of this company is the sixth image. The is the sixth image of the or the sixth file, not the sixth image, the sixth file uploaded. Um, the second part is the current website design, which we want to upgrade. The third to the third to in fifth part are images of executives with their first name as the name of our kindly go through the image to find out their profile and name accordingly. And then the sixth part of uploading is Udemy, a site we want to also use as reference. Then lastly, please build the admin and the user dashboard with severe login. So I'm just going to stop here and I'm going to come and send it from build to plan. So this I just did now. This changing from build to plan is
Sorry,
very
Isaac.
yes.
The seventh file is the Udemy.
Three, four,
This
five,
is the
six.
logo, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for my that. Yeah, the seventh doesn't show there. Really paying attention. Thank you so much. All right, so this I'm going to do now is very important because initially, a lot of people didn't have this option for plan. So what we just do is just click on build and it just begins to build. So with plan, it actually really goes through everything we said, try to understand it. So it's more like research mode for ChatGPT, right? So it's like it really thinks and then it brings out a detailed structure, explains everything to you. I said, is this what you want? And then you can actually click on accept, right? So let's now click on plan and click on. So yeah, in case you want to talk, you can use this enable voice mode. You want to use your voice to prompt it. And I'm going to click on enter. So now it begins to build. So now analyzing design gaps and monetization approach. I don't know why I've been unable to open my tool. Why? So it's still loading. Okay, so now they'll begin to ask us a series of questions. How would you like to handle the payment? So do you want to use Paystack? Do you want to use a mock payment for now? Do you want to use Lovable Stripe? So an interesting thing now, this actually just came out this week. So Lovable has integrated their platform with Stripe, right? So it makes it easier for us to handle payment. I've not used this, but I've used Real Paystack. So, but for the purpose of this, and in case you want to actually move forward and actually build a real app with Paystack, I would advise you can do it on your by yourself. You can work very closely with ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT that you're trying to integrate Paystack. So far, you've seen as you've seen what we are doing so far, but I'm going to use more. But with this, you would have an idea. So you tell ChatGPT that you want to use Paystack, and then ChatGPT is going to guide you very closely. The first time I used Paystack, I hadn't done it before, but I worked very closely with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was able to guide me. And a lot of the things I'm doing now, when I was starting it out, worked very closely with ChatGPT. ChatGPT understands many of these things and it understands lovable user user interface very well and how it works. So it can also guide you. So you tell this thing that you're going to use lovable to do it, then it can tell you what to do and what not. Now, saying how will your course videos and PDF actually be hosted or stored? So these are the options: upload to lovable cloud storage, external video URL, placeholder content format. So for now, we are going to say, um, we're going to say, we're going to say this. So what I clicked on was Lovable Cloud. So Lovable Cloud, let me explain it very basically. So what Lovable Cloud is basically an AI powered backend. So in the past, just a minute. Like, it's not about- So sorry for the correction. So basically, what Lovable Cloud is, or Lovable Cloud is basically is a platform by Lovable that makes it easier for you to be able to do a lot of back-end work, back-end integration without you having to code. So I was saying that in the past, if we wanted to do back-end action, what we would need to do is we need to have to understand, learn how to code back-end kind of code, right? So things like um, um, SQL and the likes. And what you have, and it's even some people say it's more complicated than front end. But now with Superbase, you don't really need to code all of those things again. Lovable is going to write all of those codes for you and store all of those things for you and build all the integrations you need to build without you having to write a single line of code. So then which feature do you want to build first? Pick order applies. So marketing side plus more plus paywall, progress, tracking, bookmark, blog. Um, so I'm going to click full scope. So where could AI generate image views, learning track, so custom new, minimal user tagging. So I'm going to click this. So that the ask where would the AI generate images for. So going to generate images for the hero, for the custom new, for the learning track covers. I'll click on submit. But I think I told it to generate images. So that's it's time to really drill in and answer some very important questions. So that's part of the second reason why Love is going to stand out from these other platforms. So now it's coming up with an actual plan. So this is the part where you have to prove or disprove. So now let's go back to okay, someone's hand is up. So I think you might be able to answer. You should be able to answer some questions. Why? Because that may take like 2 or 3 minutes to actually plan, and after planning, the execution will take like another 3 to 5 minutes. So I don't mind answering some questions now if you are good with that.
Okay. All right, Isaac, thank you so much. I really appreciate the class. I mean, maybe because I'm already working on something on Visual Studio and then using some of these AI models like Claude and then ChatGPT. So I want to ask a question. What would you advise around models that you use AI agent for work? Will you advise that you only use one model to complete all the work, or you can use multiple models? And I'm talking about the AI agents right now. You know, you're in VS Code right now, trying to use, maybe you want to use Claude and then you get, you started with Claude, but you feel that, oh, what Claude is giving you is not it. You switch to ChatGPT, you're using ChatGPT, and then maybe at a point, the same one project really, and then you feel that, oh, what ChatGPT 2 is not giving you, you switch back to Claude. Do you think there is any drawback with that action? And do you advise one just sticks to one model, use one model, or you can switch in between models when you're doing a project?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so are you familiar with Copilot? Not even
Yes.
Copilot, with
No.
GitHub.
Yes, I'm
Are you
using
familiar with
GitHub.
GitHub?
Yes, I'm using GitHub. I'm using VS Code. I'm
Okay,
using VS Code and I'm using Copilot inside VS Code. That's why I'm asking the question.
awesome, awesome. So what I would say is, like for instance, there is none of my code, all my code, like before Claude, I would, and like all my code since I started by coding, like leveraging AI tools before Claude, what I used was Lovable. And when Copilot came in, because Copilot was much earlier um, than Claude Code. So when Copilot came in and Copilot is free, I almost stopped using the Lovable paid version because Lovable has the paid version and I've subscribed up to. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
kidding. I've spent over $1,000 on Lovable.
Yeah,
I
it's, let's
they
continue.
really enjoyed my money. So
Yeah.
but after Copilot came in and Copilot is free, I stopped paying almost. I don't pay for Lovable Pro again. Just the same way I'm doing this, and I want to show you guys. I don't know why it's not connecting to my Visual Studios. Hope we're able to sort it out before. So basically, what I'm able to do is I'll build everything here in Lovable, at least connect to the Lovable Cloud to help out with my backend and all of that. And then I would connect the code to GitHub, right? So once it's on GitHub from Lovable, I would come to Visual Studios. I'll pull the code to my repository. I'll make the changes on my own local host. Then I'll push it back. As once I push it back, it also reflects in Lovable and it also reflects in my real time. Right, so that's how I work. So I'll make changes there. And if I need to make any change to in Lovable, I'll make the change and then I'll come here to Visual Studios. And if I want to continue on Visual Studios, I would come to Visual Studios and then pull the code back into my my
So
current my yes.
so basically there is no drawback using different models, even when it is a single project.
There isn't. I think it depends on what you're doing, but basically I think it's an advantage if you really know what you're trying to achieve.
Okay,
You know what
but
you're trying to achieve.
okay, I was even of the opinion that there might be some sort of confusion because if I started with a code right now, maybe I started with a project and then a VS Code, and then I'm using Claude for it, but I'm not getting my desired result. If I switch to ChatGPT, may not even know what is happening before, or probably if I start another chat, it may not even understand and is in a different model. It may not even understand what is going on before, and then I may need to start trying to. I don't
Explain.
know. I maybe
Yeah,
I'm the
so
one
that
that thinks that way.
yeah,
Maybe
so
that there is
if
a
it's
drawback.
ChatGPT, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, so that's why I did not. If you had come earlier, I was talking about the disadvantages of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT does not have the ability to go through your code base and understand what you're building. But Claude Code,
Okay.
Copilot, they have the ability to
Yeah.
understand. You can and in the initial training session we had, there was a code I gave that you can use um, to activate Claude to go through your whole code base. I think I don't want to waste too much time, but there's a code you can actually use, and Claude is going to I think it's um, Claude in it. Yeah, so Claude in it. So you're telling Claude, look at the project, understand what's here, create a Claude.md5. So it's going to describe everything. But
Mhm.
also, GitHub Copilot does that as well, right?
Yes, yes,
But it
yes,
depends
yes.
on how
Yes,
you
it is.
it depends on how you want to really approach it. So if you're using Lovable, but the thing about Lovable is that if you do not start with Lovable, it's going to be difficult for you to now use Lovable, like to connect
I was
another
using
code.
Lovable before, but when I junked it, I was using Lovable before. It wasn't giving me water. I think maybe they've improved now. When I was using it, even if you do your work and you push it to GitHub, it's only one way synchronization. You cannot write from
Mm,
GitHub down to it. You have to write. It has all the changes has to be held. What they call it in Lovable. So that was maybe they've changed it now. So that's when I just this. stop using
But
it and
now,
then just focus on Claude and VS Code with
uh,
Copilot.
so now you can actually push it. So you would have to the instruction you give to. So once you pull it from the main repository, you just give it the instruction. After you made the change, you tell it push it back to main. That simple prompt. Push
Mm.
it back to main. It's going to bring up a pop-up to ask you if you the normal permission stuff. You give it permission. And what I tend to do is I really wanted us to actually see that in action, but it's really I don't know why this is doing this. So let me see. Learning it. So I don't know why. Let me close it and open it again. That's the reason. Sorry guys for the I've closed Visual Studio. Let me open it again. Perhaps that's the reason why I'm experiencing this. Okay. So while this is opening, let's go back. I believe Novigo has generated like the plan. So now this is the plan, right? So this is where you approve. So, but before that, let's quickly skim through it. So Textile Academy, Premium LMS Review. So a full repository with community websites to paid digital learning hub, real authentication, real database, counters near access, mock checkout, swap to pay stack later by replacing one server function. So it's going to write the code for this, but eventually when we are now ready, so for now, it's going to be a mock. So when we are ready, it's going to now make the changes. So user dashboard with progress tracking and complete admin to upload costs, manage users and view payments. So logo, real textile logo, update set nav backdot footer. So color pink. So it was able to scan the pink color based on the images we sent to it. Sub for type. Type means like the font typography. So the kind of font you're using, is it Arial, New Times Roman, Montserrat. So this is what is typed. So Sora for heading, Inter for body, general spacing, large hero type. So hero type is the H1 and H2. So for the motion, it's going to be so AI generated image. So one hero illustration, a woman at laptop, and it's going to show that. So these are the different pages. So forward slash nothing is home, forward slash courses is course library page, forward slash courses slash log is course details, track for learning track, pricing, about. So these are the different pages we're going to create. Then the hero page, so this is what's going to show in the hero page. So, so this is basically the summary of all of that. Then from admin dashboard, the overview, the courses, the lesson, the users, the payments, the articles, so the announcements. So all of this should be managed in the admin dashboard, right? So for the database, it's going to create all of these tables, right, in the Lovable Cloud using Postgres. So normally you'd have to create all of these tables. You'd have to write code and create all of these tables and then copy it and bring it back to your code, do a lot of backend logic and stuff. But all of those things, you don't have to bother yourself with that. So for the technical stack, it's using pen stack. So you don't need to bother about some of all these things again. So mind you, this what we are going to click on approve and it's going to build. Normally, I'm going to click on approve now. Click on approve. Normally, a developer, a very good developer, full stack developer who understands front end and back end, who has been working very well, knows his onion, would take maybe 3 days to a week or 2 weeks. I don't know to actually build what we are going to just build, just start button. Right. So now we have 3 credits remaining. Initially, I don't think I showed you, but when we started, we had 5 credits. So the first, all of this analysis and coming up with those thought process took 2 credits because it was actually a lot. Usually it takes 1 credit, but because I believe it was a lot of tasks, it took 2 credits. And one thing I noticed is that Nobody is going to try as much as possible to squeeze everything and achieve everything if you are detailed enough with your 5 prompts. But if you're not detailed, if you just give it a very simple prompt, it might still end up using that your 5 prompts to achieve it, right? But if you have a lot more tasks and you give it, it will still try to have everything done within that same 5 prompts. I don't know if that within that same 5 credits, sorry. I don't know if I was able to make any sense, if you understood what I was saying. Did I make sense? Did you get what I'm saying? Or I should maybe say it again.
Sorry, did you what?
Like, did you understand what I said? Like, or I should maybe repeat it.
No, I heard
Are you
what you
there?
said. Just that your network is breaking a little. You said
So basically,
we had 5 credits initially, then it's now 3 and
yeah, yeah, that's what I said. Thank you. So I'm saying that lovable, from my own personal experience, I've noticed that if you give lovable a very detailed prompt on what to do, something similar to this, and you give it five, and it has 5 credits to achieve it, it is going to try as much as possible to squeeze it and achieve it with those 5 credits, right? But if you give it a very shabby um, prompt and you still have 5 credits, it may just do very basic stuff with still that same 5 credits. So as much as possible, what I'm trying to say is that make your prompt as detailed as possible and think about what you really want to achieve. Go through as many pages. You can write a very long prompts, like it can be very, very long. You can go to different pages, go make all the changes, observe all the changes you want to observe, go through all the, because every day you're going to get 5 credits. So go through the site, look at, make sure that you notice all as many errors and corrections as possible. Then put all of them into one prompt. You can have up to 10 different corrections, and Lovable is going to handle all of that. Right. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I just opened Visual Studios again. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on New Windows because I want to try to um, import a repository again. So it's still applying, still working. So this is a very large build. So you can see it's already saying, so given the skill 30 plus route 5, full schema with RSL, admin plus user dashboard, AI image generation, re-authentication. I'll be honest with you, doing this cleaning in a single turn, use bug, find out faster than I can verify them. I'm going to start by enabling level cloud required for authentication and then building a logical sequence. Let me kick off the foundation. So it's actually saying that that it's actually a large build, and to be honest, it actually is a large build. So it's saying that it's going to do all of those things. It's going to try, but to have everything achieved within, so it's generating these images and all of that. So to actually have all of this achieved within one single action, it might be, might cause bugs to be in the site. So, but it's going to try to see what it can do basically. So I'm just going to be patient and see what it comes up with. So it's generating the images and doing all of those stuff. Like you notice, it's going to still try to make sure that the images are in line um, with your brand identity. I'm going to show you one site that I did. Uh, okay, I don't let me not do that. Let me not do that because of privacy. But basically, you can be very creative. You can go to Gemini, create other stuff that would look very realistic and use them in your site, right? So I think I can show you because the the owner of this site is very doesn't mind what the songs. So I'm going to show you some stuff I did on using Gemini, some mock-ups, right? and I put some of that in his website. So it can and I use that using Gemini. So you can also try to do similar stuff and use them on your own website. So I'm just doing that to give you an idea of what I already showed you Tekari. So now I'm just showing you this so that you can also have an idea of what is also possible now that we have AI, like an AI as powerful as Gemini. You know, so this is so depending on what you're trying to do, sometimes it's your creativity that would really determine how far and your willingness to commit to sorry. And I'll just show it from here. Okay, so in the actual image where I put that, I think I removed this Gemini logo stuff. So this is just like I built this using Gemini, you can see. So this is just for perspective. Depending on what you're trying to achieve, maybe you need a picture for your hero section. To do something like that, or you can come up with something more creative based on what you're trying to achieve. Right? So these are not all, but you can also use something like that or something like this. Just for different sections, basically. Right? That's basically what I was trying to show. Okay, I think this should be done now. Okay, so it's done. This should it's loading now, starting like crazy. Okay, this is a new site. So this is done and live now. Review cloud enabled. Done with this stuff. Queued for next one. So what it did, like I said, it put some actions for next. So we've exhausted this zero free credits for today. So you can now move it to another section, right? So but I'm going to show you a little trick. Um, so to be able to make a lot happen. So now this is what we came up with, right? So we can see all of this. So this is what we came up with, right? This is
Wow.
what we came up with. So we came up with this. So it was able to get their names, like I said. Should. So I don't know why I didn't get this full name. Then if I click on get access now, I think it's still loading. I think it's still uh, not so, so there are still some things that are not properly worked on yet. Let's go to pricing page. Let's see how pricing page is. Okay, so pricing page, all of them are still on one page. Okay, I see. So, um, so now this trick I'm going to show you. I learned it with Lord and Spirit, but just kidding. So I'm going to show you now. Um, it helps you because Lovable created a feature where you can share your 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 code with somebody else, right? So if I should copy this URL and my code is public, so I come here, go to my settings and make my code public, right? If I share my URL to anybody, the person will be able to duplicate my code, and I'll have the settings to also give it decide whether or not to make my history public as well. So if I make my history public as well, then the person will also have information as regarding what I've been trying to do. So I'm going to scroll down to um, project category. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think this should be project disability. I think they've changed the UI. Think they removed it here. Project assets.
I think I saw it under project remixing. Allow someone to be able to copy.
Yeah, I think that might be it actually. Remix project. If you see the
Just under the project access, public
project access.
remixing.
Okay. Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
This
yeah, yeah. That's
person.
it. Thank you. Yeah, okay, allow others to copy. Yeah, that's thank you. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. They've changed. That was not how it used to be. It used to be a drop down. But yeah, that's it so much. So, then I think once I enable this, so they'll be able to remix it. Basically, they'll create a version on their own account, right? But they cannot. They won't affect yours unless you do what they call collaborate. So that's different um, for them. So, but that one, you are both going to be sharing the same credit of the original person who owns the code. So that's not what I want. I want to be able to I want to continue. So basically, I'm going to abandon this. I'm going to rebuild it on another place. But now we've already had 5 credits leverage. Excuse me, sorry. We already have 5 credits leverage. So I'm going to go to another of my Lovable accounts. Then I'm going to pay to it and I'm going to continue. At least I'm just going to do it once, but depending on how many I have. No, the ideal thing is to get a Lovable Pro version and just finish everything on one account. And if you now push it to your domain, you can't be doing all of those movements again. It will not make any sense. Because once your site is connected to a domain, um, it means you have to be disconnecting your GitHub or it's now become so all my life sites I can't be doing all of that for that. So it's majorly when I'm just trying to build it and then now that I also have GitHub Copilot and Cloud, I don't usually do all of this again. But I'm doing it now just to show you, just in case you want to do that. So I'm going to come here, just open another of my accounts. These are some of the accounts I have. I'm just going to open this one. I'm going to come to so you have to make sure you are logged in. So I want to confirm that I'm logged in. So even if I'm not, if I'm, so yeah, even if I've created an account, I don't think I've created an account on that platform. That mm, is taking this thing to the airport. Even if you under my account, so I think I already have. I could just I don't think it's logged access. Don't log in.
Hi, Isaac.
Yes,
Okay, so I mean, what we have, let's say we don't have another account to log into, and the credits are finished. So all we have to do is just wait till the next day, right, by 12, or just the next day for the credits to be renewed all over on the free version, right?
yes, yes, yes. That sounds very, very
Okay.
good. So it actually renews by 1 a.m.
Oh,
Uh,
1 a.m. Okay.
so just yeah, please help me off it. Thank you very much, neighbor. Turn off some of them. But, uh, okay, I don't know why to repeat. Okay, I don't know because of um. So I have, I don't know, I'm a bit limited. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this and just have to use this account. I know I use it every time. So for just that,
Yeah.
I wanted to use the credit for something else, but that's fine. Thank you.
I understand. I think we've been able to achieve what you wanted to show us with Lovable because of time. I think you're
Yeah,
really enjoying yourself with this.
mind me just
Uh,
so good. So
so
yeah, yeah. I think we can just probably stop here. Leaving, I can go on to 10 o'clock. So, but
I
yeah,
mean, in less than 2 hours, we've been able to build a full MVP with a full team. This could take like, I mean, 2 weeks to 1 month to build without AI.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
we've really
So I think
proven that has really helped to fast track things. And if you were using the pro version, I'm sure it would have been maybe faster than this, all this back
yeah,
and forth.
definitely. So I don't use so I have my client's account that I'm using Pro, so I can't use theirs. So and then naturally I wanted to show you how to achieve it with almost zero cost implication. So that's why I was even going to so the approach I'm going through. So but yeah, think that I should, I'll probably just stop here. Probably just stop here so that you can ask questions. But I really wanted to see if the login show, but I think we can. mm, But I think when we actually begin to explore some of these things, we might be able to sort it out. And majorly because of time, really, is looking to some of the very things about us now. So I think maybe I'll just answer a few questions. Yeah, thank you so much, Alan. Thank you. Kind of takes time.
Wow. Thank you so much, Isaac, for your time. I mean, if let me just do a run through to be sure I understood everything. You took a screenshot of the current website with the Go Full Page extension, right? And you took it to ChatGPT to kind
Yep.
of analyze. You gave it a prompt to make it better, and you told it what you wanted it to do, what you wanted to achieve with this current attached image,
Yeah.
right? And then when it gave you a code, the HTML and JavaScript, then you moved it to Lovable,
God
right?
and A. Yeah.
Was it ChatGPT or Claude?
Yeah. So I use both actually. So I use Claude for the to generate the HTML code. I use ChatGPT for the audit
Okay,
and
okay,
everything.
okay. So ChatGPT for the audit, and then the Claude for the code generation. Then you attached it with the images to Lovable and asked it to build the Udemy LMS replica, right?
Yep.
Okay. And it generated all that.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah. So the interesting thing was that um if we had the time, we could have looked at it and would have gotten, would have seen the admin dashboard, would have seen the users. That's but all of those things have been created. But I noticed that the buttons were not clickable. So maybe there was an issue with linking. And so that was really why, because I noticed that those pages have been created and there was just some little stuff. So, but by the way, when you begin to do these things, you'll see that at least now you have an understanding, you've seen it being put to test and put to work. So you can now know what to expect, and then ChatGPT is going to be your friend. In the past, we used to say Stack Overflow is your friend. So Stack Overflow was a website where developers used to go to ask questions. And when I was learning to code, then there was no ChatGPT. They were always saying, don't be shy to ask questions in Stack Overflow. Every developer is a learner. They're just like a doctor. Even senior doctors always run to consult their books when they have questions and stuff. So they would always encourage us.
Yeah,
So the same
yeah,
way
I understand.
now, don't be
So
ashamed of
one last
typing.
question, Isaac. Be sincere, yeah. So you're able to, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I want to ask this last question. Um, so you're able, I think you're able to do more all of this faster because you're more conversant as a developer, designer, and all. Do you think
Yeah.
someone that a total newbie, someone that doesn't know anything about tech, just says, okay, I have an offline business. I want to build a website for my business. Do you think the person can just go online and do their own research and then come up with something like what you just an own page like what you just built with Lovable? Or do you think this just helps developers or designers work faster instead?
So that's really what I was trying to achieve with this training, so that both novices and people who have some experience to be able to watch because even when I was learning, I watched on just Lovable, I watched over 10 hours of Lovable courses, right? People talking about Lovable, things they've built with Lovable, how they were able to mitigate for security. You saw me dabbling a lot. Some of those things I did with 3 minutes may have been a 54-minute course, right? Talking about GitHub and taking several courses on just GitHub, right? Even while I was a developer, like working fully within non-AI tools, and when I began to use AI tools, right? So the truth is, if the person is willing to commit to like maybe 2 3 hours, and watch some apart from this,
Yeah.
the person can watch other YouTube videos. The person should because we were not able to really tackle everything, but there are very comprehensive YouTube videos on Lovable that the person can watch. A couple of them, right? It's worth the amount. It's worth the amount. But if you're going to be having a developer coming, depends actually. Depends on how what you're trying to do. So if you're going to do a lot of something that has to do with a lot of security and stuff, it's always good to have a developer looking to what you're trying to do. Right? Even if maybe you build the what's it called now? You play around with it, you build everything, then you tell them to come into it and look at it for security or to help you flesh it out. If they haven't going to charge you, it's not going to be the same way they will charge you if you have not built anything at all. Right? That's even if what you want to build, it has to do with a lot of sensitive data, for instance, payments and all that. But if it's something that has to do with a simple website with maps, information and all of that, then want to just watch some more courses by to build it by yourself. So, and also, I'm here for anybody from tech side that needs, you build something and you want me to help you look at it, at no extra cost. Always just jump in, listen to it, maybe give you an advice on how to approach it or something. So, yeah, to answer your question in simple terms, yes, but yes, in novice or non-tech technical person, I mean, that's what we was paid for. Non-technical person can use Lovable to build the
Yeah.
application, but the person has to go to some training. So it cannot be compared to actually the training for building normally, writing pure code. But the person has to sit down to actually learn how to use.
Wow. Thank you so much, Isaac, for your time. Really,
Yeah,
really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So let me I'm just going to round up.
I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah. You're loading something, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed this.
Thank you. Have uh,
Okay, I think that will be all. Okay, let me just show my screen and just announce that our tech deep dive code 7 registration is still ongoing and it's going to close tomorrow. Tomorrow is May 3rd, right? So if there's anyone that still wants to register or you know anyone, you can repost, reshare so that nobody misses opportunity to learn something like this. You can imagine getting clients and building like 10 websites like this in a month. I mean, that's a lot of money. And I think even I myself will go for that and dig deeper into this Lovable and all. Yeah. So we still have Microsoft Springs Challenge going on. Imagine Cup and our November Evolve conference is also coming up this year. That'll be after our boot camp. So, okay, I think we're going to end here. If there are any more questions, we're going to, of course, we're going to share this recording will be uploaded on YouTube, and all the resources and the slides that you shared will also be sent out in our newsletter. So thank you so much and have a lovely weekend. Bye. Bye, everybody.